Welcome to the Feminine Factor podcast, where I take you on a journey to remember and reclaim the power that's always been inside of you. The power of your feminine energy, the power of your emotions, the power of your creator being. And it's time to drop all the bullshit that's out there in the spiritual community and really get connected to the truth of who you are and what you're capable of creating. Are you ready to remember? Let's go on a journey. Hello and welcome to the Feminine Factor podcast. I'm your host, Deanna Lynn, and if this is your first time here, welcome to my podcast. And if you're coming back, thanks for coming back. It's great to have you. So I have some great news. I am now beginning to have guests on my podcast. So I have 2 guests lined up, and we are going to be diving into so many incredible things around the feminine energy, emotions, and shame programming. As I've been on this journey, and I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before. Oh yeah, and this is episode number 3. That there is so much programming out there in the self-development world, the self-development space, whatever you want to call it, around shame, about needing to fix and change your current circumstances and where you are at. And so what I'm doing on this podcast with other coaches and healers that feel the same way about this is we're really going to start to dive into the programs that we have seen ourselves and our clients get caught up in for way too long, and programming that it looks like on the surface it's going to be helping you to heal yourself and expand yourself and move to create the life that you desire. But in turn, it actually is keeping you stuck and stagnant in your life. So we're going to start to bring these to your awareness so you can start to see things just a little bit differently and start to tell the truth about the stuff that you're seeing out there in the world that's all over social media that people are teaching. And first of all, what I want to say about that is everything is perfect. Even if somebody is teaching something that you begin to see the truth about, that is maybe something that could be keeping others stuck and yourself stuck, there's absolutely no shame. We are all here on this journey. We're all learning and growing at our own rate, and we're here for our own life experiences, right? So what might be your truth of something that actually is keeping you stuck might not be someone else's truth, and it actually might be the thing that's helping them to expand, okay? So whenever I share anything that I personally see as a shame programming, I want you to really tune in with yourself to see if that actually is true for you or not. Okay. And the way that I do that is, well, first of all, I just want to share that my absolute gift on this world is to be able to be connected to the feminine energy of the collective, the emotional energy of the collective. I can tap into other people's emotional energy and feminine energy to see really what's going on. Okay. So as I tune into these parts, these programs, these things that are being taught out in the world, I tap in and I feel in to see, how is that actually making my feminine feel? And when it doesn't feel good, then I know that there's some type of shame program that's attached to it. And it's time for me to dive in and discern what's actually going on and what is the truth behind it, and how is that actually making the feminine feel? Okay, so what I'd like you to do is when you hear these things, start to begin to get connected to your emotional system and start to listen when you're reading something, learning something, seeing something, really tune into like, how does that actually make me feel? Okay, so we can look at it from a lens of, if your emotions are considered your feminine energy, think of it as just a female in general, like an actual person. You have an inner masculine and you have an inner feminine. See yourself as the inner feminine in that moment, okay? And imagine if a masculine was telling you this thing, how would that make you feel? Okay. And so that's your mind is taking in this information from your external reality of other things that people are sharing, and it's giving this direction to your feminine of how to feel. So how does she feel? So if you actually take this outside of yourself and maybe take it into, say, a relationship, if you're in a relationship, how would that feel if your partner was telling you this? Okay. And a lot of the stuff when I tune in, if my partner was telling me these things like, you need to fix, you need to change, you need to heal, you need to do all these things, I'd be like, apparently you don't love me for who I am. And that doesn't feel good for me. Like, I need to change to have your love. That doesn't sit well with me. So that's what we are working on really bringing out into the world, to start to awaken to what's being said out there and how are we actually treating our feminine energy inside us. Okay, so I'm really excited. So far, I've got 2 guests that are lined up to have this chat with and just really see what is the programming that they're discovering with themselves and their clients that they want to bring to light. And then I also have another 3 people that are interested, and we just need to set up time. So it's just going to keep growing and growing and growing. And I'm so excited to have these conversations with these amazing people and, just really help support you with what's coming through. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about shame today. There's been a lot that's been coming through for me lately around shame, because obviously I opened this space up and I was like, universe, bring me all the shame programming so I can look at it a little bit differently. Okay. And so the biggest one that I've been discovering lately is how in the law of attraction manifestation world, it talks about how our vibration is what brings the stuff into our reality, which when I check in, yes, that's true. And you can check in with yourself as well. Is that true? Okay, so like attracts like. That's the type of universe that we live in and we've accepted and said yes to. Okay, now what does not agree with me, what does not feel good to my feminine, and as I tap into the collective energy, is saying that your emotions and your emotional state is what sets your vibration. Because as I tune into that, this is what I hear. If my emotional state sets my vibration, there are emotions out there that people see as bad or wrong. They don't want to experience them. They're low vibe or they're negative. Okay? So what that's saying is when I'm in a low vibration emotional state, I'm all of a sudden not a vibrational match to the things that I actually want in my reality. And as soon as I do that, it all of a sudden puts this conditionality over who I am and what I'm attracting into my life and all the things that I want. Now, I have to be a good girl and have my emotional state high so that I vibrate high, so that I have the things that I want actually in my life. How does that make you feel when you're like, I need to always feel good so I can attract the things I want in my life? Does that feel good for you? That sure as hell doesn't feel good for me, because I know in my life growing up, and probably a lot of people are the same, I was shamed for being emotional. I was shamed for when I was feeling emotions that were considered bad. Like, oh, you're crying? Okay, go to your room. Or like, what are you crying about? I'll give you something to cry about. Right? Like all those emotions were shamed. Emotions are just energy in motion. They are not bad or wrong. It is your perception and the meaning that you put on them that makes them bad or wrong. So if we were to look at that from that lens, it's not the emotions that set your vibrational state. It is your perception and the meaning that you're putting around the emotions that are actually setting your vibrational state. Because if you're to really tune into it, let's just think about, somebody that you look up to, even though we don't want to put people on a pedestal, someone that you see them doing things that you are really excited because one day you're going to be doing them as well. And they're just a mere reflection of what you are capable of actually doing. And if you were to tune into them, do you think that they always, always, always are in a high emotional state, a high vibe, and then they only feel and experience high vibe emotions? You're probably saying no, because guess what? They're human. So if that's the case, do you believe that when they're not in a high vibe emotional state, all of a sudden they're not a vibrational match to the things that they're doing and creating in their life? That they're all of a sudden not worthy of those things? Probably not. I don't know what I just said there. What I was meaning to say is that when they're in the low vibrational state, they are still attracting the things into their life. Because guess what? I'm going to guess they've probably cleared most of the shame programming out of their system, that when they're feeling a certain way, when they've experienced something in their life, or they've had a perception of something that's going externally in their reality that they maybe don't like or want, they're not shaming the fuck out of themselves. They're accepting how they feel. So when we can begin to accept exactly how we feel in every single moment, that is what shifts our vibration. So if I'm feeling an emotion called sadness, if I'm now putting a story behind it and being like, oh, I shouldn't be feeling sad right now. I'm trying to manifest and attract this into my life, and now I can't attract the thing because I'm feeling sad. You've all of a sudden just shamed yourself for feeling sad. And that's what lowered your vibration, not the fact that you feel sad. Do you see the difference? So if you were to feel sad and accept that you're feeling sad and validate yourself and be like, well, of course I feel sad. This is what just happened in my life and I am human and this really sucks. It really, really sucks. And that's okay. And because the fact I'm accepting it and loving myself through this experience and validating how I feel, my vibration is going to still stay the same. It's not going to drop. It's when I shame myself for feeling that sadness is when my vibration actually drops. Do you see how powerful this is? Do you see how easy this is? So it's time to let go of the program that says your vibration is connected to your emotional state. And we can change it to your vibration is connected to the perception of your emotional state. Okay? And that's the kind of stuff that we're going to be bringing out with my guests. And I'm really excited about that, especially because I know, my gosh, my whole life I was shamed to the max. I shamed myself to the max. So anytime there's a should, anytime there's a how can I make this happen? How can I change this? How can I fix this? Analyzing it, there's shame underneath it. We're not accepting our experience. Okay? And when I say accepting it, it doesn't mean you have to love it. Accepting how you feel about your experience. And I did a video just the other day talking about we don't want to lie to ourselves because lying to ourselves actually drops our vibration as well. So in the whole law of attraction community, and this I think was really brought to light through the movie The Secret documentary, which was amazing, obviously. Like I attracted some pretty epic things after watching that. It says, be in a state of thankfulness, be in a state of gratitude, and that is going to be the vibrational match that's going to bring the thing to you. But what I want to say about that is if you're lying to yourself that you're grateful and you're thankful for the thing in your life that you absolutely hate and pisses you off and makes you so angry or upset, then that's actually dropping your vibration. Maybe you can actually cultivate those feelings of thankfulness and gratitude within your body for like a hot minute. But then as soon as you see the thing again, it's going to trigger you back into the state of, oh crap, I'm trying to attract something different in my life. I hate this thing, but I need to be thankful and grateful for this thing for my life to actually change, for my vibration to be aligned to what I actually want. It's pretty much a mind fuck. So what if instead of you lying to yourself and trying to be grateful for something that you can't be grateful for, be honest with yourself on how you're feeling about the thing. Allow yourself to feel those feelings of how you're feeling, because that releases the shame. Like, I know for me, as I was learning this and practicing it, it was like the trigger came up and I'm like, of course this would trigger me. It's showing me like I deserve something so much better than this. And look where I am. Like, of course I would be pissed off. Of course I would be angry. Of course I would be triggered every single time. But I'm not going to pretend that I'm not triggered so I can be thankful and grateful for the thing that I hate just so I can like shift my experience. But all along it's just dropping my vibration. And the moment I allowed myself to actually feel how I felt about the thing, it was like a huge weight came off my shoulders. I was like, I can breathe. It's like the little girl inside of you that like the parent was like, oh, you can't be angry about that. All of a sudden was like, yeah, you know what? You can be angry about that. I'm allowing you to. And then you released all the anger and you felt so good. Like, I'm not being shamed for being angry. This is amazing. It begins to release the stagnant emotional energy in the body. It begins to create a new relationship with yourself and your emotions, that you are allowed to feel what you feel and you're no longer going to shame yourself. And it actually blows the charge of the trigger. So the next time you see the thing in your external reality or feel the thing that normally triggers you, the same charge is not going to be there. And so when we're not feeling that emotional charge, guess what happens to our vibration? It's going to rise. Guess what happens when we finally allow ourselves to feel what we feel? Our vibration rises because we're not shaming ourselves. It's the shame that's dropping your vibration. Okay? You see how this works and how powerful it is? So yeah, I'm so excited to share all this stuff. I just wanted to share a couple examples with you, and just really let you know what we're going to be talking about in the future podcasts. And the powerful perspective that I'm going to be bringing through is like the example of the feminine energy, the inner feminine energy. So if you're telling yourself you can't feel a certain way, what is that saying to your feminine energy? It's telling her that she's bad, she's wrong, she needs to change. Okay? When she can be free and self-expressed, like magic happens. All of a sudden, her ability to manifest and attract the things that you want into your life is going to skyrocket, because you're not repressing her any longer. So like when we tell ourselves we can't feel the emotions because we need to be grateful, well, if she's feeling a thing, you're repressing it in your body. And what does repressed emotions do in your body? Well, it creates a lot of stagnation, and the stagnation can create pain. It can create muscle tension and tightness. It can create fascia that's locked up. It can create health conditions. It can create so many different things. It can get you to hold on to weight. It does so many things. So instead of trying to fix the situation and fix the problem, start allowing yourself and validate yourself for what you're actually feeling. Okay. That is the first stage of what needs to happen on the journey. And I've noticed in the community, in the self-developed community, it gets really confused around manifestation and really accepting where you're at in your experience. So I really want to make this clear for you. The first step is accepting where you're at in your experience and allowing yourself to feel exactly what you feel. Because if you try to go and step into the space of let's go ahead and manifest in the quantum field, but we're still shaming ourselves in our experience, the whole manifesting and attracting in the quantum field is actually coming from a place of shame. It's coming from a place of you're trying to fix and change yourself and your reality. And guess what? It's not going to work. So it needs to happen first. We need to allow ourselves to be exactly how we are and accept and know that we are whole and we are perfect and amazing in this moment. And it's just the programming from childhood, generations of childhood telling you you can't feel what you feel is what is not allowing you to be in this moment and realize that you're whole and perfect as you are. And then all the stories that pile on top of that. So once we can accept that we are whole and complete, then we can move into the manifesting in the quantum field from a place of expansion, not a place of I'm trying to fix myself because I'm bad or wrong or broken. I'm expanding myself. I'm expanding my light and my power and my amazingness that I already am. So I'm going to leave it at that for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. And always, if you need support, reach out. I am here for you. Check out my website, see all the things I'm up to, all the things I'm offering, and all the ways that we can work together. It is my mission to really help people get connected to their emotions, get connected to their feminine, shift this whole paradigm around emotions, the feminine, the shame programming that's out there in the self-development world, and allow you to start to really just be yourself, be fully self-expressed, and begin to expand and live the life of your dreams. So I will see you in the next episode, and most likely that will be with my first guest. So take care and just love how you feel in every moment. We'll see you later.